Welcome back, everybody. So I figured it would be a great time to compare some more Muse songs because you guys loved it so much the last time I did it. Wait, that's not loving it. Crap. I thought a fun idea would be to compare two Muse albums together, track by track, and see which ones I thought overall were better or worse. Because like I said, you guys loved it so much the last time. What? I was originally going to do this between Origin of Symmetry and Absolution, but I ended up changing my mind because Origin of Symmetry just dominated almost every single song. I switched it to Black Holes and Revelations versus Absolution, and now let's get into it. So the first song for Black Holes is Take a Bow, and the first song for Absolution is Apocalypse Please. Both these songs actually were kind of growers for me. Like, I didn't really like Take a Bow or Apocalypse Please the first time I heard them, so this is kind of like which one has grown more over time. I actually heard Apocalypse Please on the Drones World Tour, and I thought it was a good time to go to the bathroom because I didn't like it that much. I'm an idiot. Yeah, you guys can flame me in the comments for that, because that's just wrong, factually. I'd probably say I pick Apocalypse Please over Take a Bow, because I think, despite Take a Bow having a fantastic ending, I think the totality of Apocalypse Please is more consistently enjoyable for me, while Take a Bow takes a little more time to pay off. And kind of during the build-up section, I'm just still getting into it, where Apocalypse Please, the moment the song hits, I'm just right into it. Both are great songs. Both are actually kind of similar with their musicality, I guess. They have extremely different instruments used. Like, obviously Take a Bow is way more synthetic than Apocalypse Please, but both have like those synth arpeggios running at one point, and they both have strange chord progressions, and I think they have similar levels of energy in them. Next one is like the pop song battle, Starlight versus Time is Running Out. And I think a lot of you guys are actually going to pick Time is Running Out for this, but I'm going to pick Starlight. I enjoy Starlight a ton. I think the melody in Starlight's a little bit better. I think the tempo in Time is Running Out is a little too slow for me to get like super into it. So yeah, I think I'd pick Starlight. Like, this is just picking like the studio versions. So if I was picking like live versions, I might say Time is Running Out is slightly better because the crowd maybe gets into that a little bit more, and it's a little heavier, but in the studio version doesn't really come out as being that much heavier. So next one is Supermassive Black Hole versus Sing for Absolution. Oh god, here we go again. I'm getting flashbacks to Madness vs. Hysteria. I pick Supermassive Black Hole. Don't tell anybody, guys. Don't hit the dislike button, please. No, in all honesty, I definitely pick Supermassive Black Hole. I think it's a way more fun song. I think Sing for Absolution is a great song as well. And I like the bridge. I think where it adds the guitar solo in there, it builds it to a whole nother level. Matt singing on the song is actually great as well. Sing for Absolution has one of his heaviest belts following a great build-up, so it's a solid song, but Supermassive Black Hole is just one of my favorite times they've gone into pop music. And I know you guys are going to pick the opposite of me on almost every single one of these. I bet most of you would have literally picked all three opposite of me, but it's my list, okay? Next is Map of the Problematic or Problematique versus Stockholm Syndrome. Again, most of you are probably going to pick the opposite. I think Stockholm Syndrome is 10 times better than Map of the Problematic. Like, Map of the Problematic has some of their coolest experimentation with the sequenced guitar line that runs through a computer. That's just, or a synth. It could be either one, technically. That's just such a creative way to build a song. The drums on the song are fantastic, but you can't hold a candle to Stockholm Syndrome with the synth arpeggios in the chorus, the brutal heaviness in multiple moments in the song. It might be their heaviest song they've ever done. It's close. One of their best solos. Despite it being the main riff played again, the way the bass line kind of runs up and down with it changes the entire dynamic of it. It opens up the whole song, while Map kind of just starts repeating. Then Soldier's Poem versus Falling Away With You. Falling Away With You is actually one of the songs that's been the hardest for me to get into over the years. I objectively can look at it and say, this is a good song. I love the guitar part in the intro. The chorus kind of loses me a little bit, despite it being musically very intriguing. Actually, let me add some markers here so you guys can keep track of all the reasons to be mad at me. Falling Away With You, I never really got into as much. Soldier's Poem is really short, which does take away a little bit from it, because I think they could have added just a tiny bit more to the song to maybe have it have maybe a little bit of an outro or a build-up section. Not to build up into like electric guitars or anything, but just a little bit more. But it has some of their best backing vocal work. Chris sounds amazing on the song. And I think the chord progression is one of my favorites in one of their slow songs, and that's gonna make me pick it. I think I might have a record, guys. All 5 so far are the opposite of what an average fan would pick, I think. Or average hardcore fan, perhaps. Whew, Invincible versus Hysteria, this is a tough one. This is real tough for me. Invincible has arguably their, not best solo, I think that goes to Reapers. Invincible is a solo that's objectively in the top 10, probably top 5 by most people's standards, or even top 3. Has a great chord progression, a great build-up, especially if you watch the live Wembley version. That song is just crazy. But I can't ditch my song Hysteria here. I ditched it for Madness. I'm not ditching it for Invincible. And that bass line just gets ingrained in your mind, and it does not let go. But oh, that's a big check mark. You don't get that big of a check mark, Hysteria. Come on. Assassin vs. Blackout. If this was live versions, I'd pick Assassin instantly. I think the mix on Assassin is a little bit weak. It sounds a tiny bit muddy and less heavy than it could have been. If that was perfected, I might have picked Assassin. I would have picked it if it was live version, like I said, especially if it had the Omega Boss edit added on as well. But studio versions alone, Blackout is one of their songs that is most likely to make me cry. That one in Redemption. It has some of their best lyrics. And I love the chord progression. I love the backing vocals. I love the solo. Everything in this song is just great. Blackout's gonna win that one for me. Exopolitics versus Butterflies and Hurricanes. That's a tough one. Oh, by the way, if you haven't noticed, it's 3-4 right now, so this is really close. Like, these albums fluctuate of which one I prefer. This doesn't necessarily mean, like, if one album has one more than the other, it doesn't necessarily mean I prefer that album. It's just a song by song, like if you're comparing one-on-one. This one, I'd have to go with Butterflies and Hurricanes just because the fact that it has that great interlude with the fantastic piano playing by Matt. It might be his best piano work on a studio album. That whole section is fantastic, but then they bring it to a whole nother level by also adding the strings in the background, which I don't hear a lot of people talk about. And Exopolitics is great because the energy almost never lets up on that song. The lightest part of the song is the intro, and then as soon as you get to the pre-chorus, it feels like a chorus almost. It's like, whoa, this is so powerful for like a pop rock type song. And then it goes up to a whole nother level when you bring it to the actual chorus, and then it follows up with a great solo. It's like, it's non-stop energy, and the bass line's great on it. But, like I said, Butterflies has that great interlude, which just brings it slightly above. By the way, I couldn't bring Fury into the mix. Black Holes has less tracks, so it needed like a boost. That's why there's no Fury. Small Print versus City of Delusion. I think City of Delusion is one of their most interesting songs. It's so experimental. It's like Spanish, but also like has this crazy walking bass line. That's one of their most strange to play because it's constantly different notes over and over again. They're jumping all over the frets. And then the trumpet solo, actually, again, just like the interlude in Butterflies and Hurricanes, the trumpet solo in City of Delusion brings the song to a whole nother level for me. Also, the cutoff filter on the second verse, along with the scratching of the strings on the guitar in City of Delusion, bring it to a whole nother level. Small Print is great live. If you watch the Earl's Court version live, that's one of my favorite performances of any song from them. But, like I said, City of Delusion just has that extra songwriting that just brings it to another level. Hoodoo versus Endlessly. Endlessly has this enchanting synth sequence playing in the background of the chorus that goes dun 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 dun. And then I love the reversed bongo sound in the post-chorus of Endlessly. However, Hoodoo has some of their best guitar work, I think, personally. Not best as in most complex, but best as in most tasteful. Kind of like Animals has some of their most tasteful work. The intro to Hoodoo has some great chords. I love the Western influence, and it builds up to a great crescendo and then closes with some of their best lines. So the song Hoodoo has to win this one for me. Now, Knights of Cydonia versus Thoughts of a Dying Atheist. Thoughts of a Dying Atheist has some of their most interesting production choices, like the phaser on the part right before the solo in like the bridge section, on top of, I think it's been reported that Dom actually jumped into a pool and they recorded it. It really does sound like that. It sounds like you're splashing into the song. The guitar line is extremely catchy during the verses, and the chorus is one of my favorite progressions in any chorus of theirs. However, Knights of Cydonia is Knights of Cydonia, and it's one of the most epic songs they've ever released. It's crazy, it's awesome, it's epic, has a crazy build-up with an extremely satisfying payoff and a simple, catchy, amazing riff that then towers above with extra added vocals. The intro could have been a tiny bit stronger on the song, like it is live, but on the studio version it does sound a little more Western influenced than it does live, which I can appreciate that for sure. So it's gonna have to go to Knights of Cydonia, despite Thoughts of a Dying Atheist being a great song. Now the final track. Right now the placing is 6 on the side of Black Holes and 5 on the side of Absolution. So this could make Black Holes pull way ahead or Absolution tie it up. What will it be? So, Glorious has a fantastic and hypnotizing intro that leads into a energizing guitar, bass, and drum synchronized gallop. It feels like so fast and epic, and then it just like washes away into this smooth, beautiful verse. Then the chorus starts just building up, and it's super melodic. It's a solid song. However, Ruled by Secrecy is probably in my top 5. I love the arpeggiating piano-ish synthy part at the beginning, the piano synth thing that's arpeggiating. It's also panning left to right, going back and forth. It also adds a bass line that arpeggiates as well. I hope arpeggiate's a word, because I keep saying it. Yikes. It layers those two on top of each other, and then Matt just like whimpers over the song, over these arpeggios, and then the drums just smoothly flow into that explosion of piano, which is again one of their best piano pieces in all of their discography. I love the crescendo of Ruled by Secrecy. If you haven't noticed, I love songs that build up to something and then explode, which is why I love songs like Madness, despite them being relatively straightforward songs for the most part. So that's going to put Ruled by Secrecy slightly above Glorious. Well, quite a bit above Glorious. Not because Glorious is bad, but because I love Ruled by Secrecy so much. And that's going to make the final total 6-6. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Make sure to not murder me too much in the comments down below. List your favorite songs from each album and compare and contrast each other's. Maybe we'll have some good discussion over the two albums. Let me know if there's other albums you'd like me to compare. It doesn't have to necessarily be from Muse or from Royal Blood. It could be from other artists. It could be different albums from different artists compared to each other. It doesn't have to be one artist being compared to itself. Royal Blood would be fun too though. So let me know what you guys think, if you have any ideas for the future. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And make sure to leave a dislike, because don't actually leave a dislike unless you want to leave a dislike. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and a dislike if you didn't. And I'm sure you guys are going to let me know how much you disagreed with me in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and adios. See you in the next video.